everyone, I wanted to do a quick video tutorial for you today on how I reduce the size of the Stampin' Up framelits to make internal matting or writing panels for all of my framelits. The ones in particular that I want to show you today are the ones out of the Apothecary Accents, the framelits that have got 4 in them. Not necessarily these bottom two, square and rectangular ones, because you can cut internal rectangles or circles or squares to fit inside of those. But these ones in particular, I like to put an internal frame that matches it if I can, and they're not nesting ones, these are kind of one off. I have done a video tutorial before on how to mat out the framelits by adding additional pieces to the back, and you get a really nice thin matting border. This time though, I'm doing it in reverse, where I'm using the size of the current framelit as my background, and I'm reducing it to get an internal panel. So you'll see here on this wine bottle label, this brown or early espresso color is an actual full size framelit, and then I'm going to use a cream one that's cut to start exactly the same, and then I'm going to reduce it down to get the internal border. So let me clear this and show you how I do that. Okay, so I've cut a standard framelit from that design, and then I've got one that's already cut in cream to the exact size, but now I'm going to go ahead and reduce it. So what I'll do is grab my plate. Sorry, it's a bit yucky and messy, but it still works. And I'm going to put my framelit cut shape already down on here. So you would have already cut that through the Big Shot once. Now I'm going to zoom in to show you exactly where to place this framelit. So when you go and you're going to cut twice and put it back through the Big Shot. Now how I know where to line it up is that I place it on the top of the die. Let me just go out a little bit because it's probably getting a bit crazy here. And I line it up in a couple of places. So first thing I try and do is I try and match the outside edge of this framelit to that little divot, oops, that appears here and here. See these little divots here? I line the outside edge of the framelit as I move it down to those little pieces there. The second place I line it up to know that I'm lining it up correctly is that I want to have the same size little peaks just sticking out either end here. Can you see on that die there, there's just a little tiny bit of the peak, and you'll notice the edge of the framelit kind of starts to follow that outside edge of that cardstock there, and you should have an even border that you're going to cut off. Now this is where it's really, really important that you stick it down with Scotch tape or some temporary adhesive so that the framelit doesn't move. So once you're happy and you've got it on there, just stick it down, run it through the Big Shot, and I'll do that and show you what it looks like. Okay guys, I've run it through the Big Shot, so now this border is cut. So if you take it off of your cutting pad, I'll do that, you'll notice the bit that I've stuck down is obviously stuck to the framelit, so just remove that. So now you can see I've just cut that bit off, and it gives you an internal frame for the big one that you've got here. So if I bring this back in here and I'll put down the one that I've cut, you'll see that it gives you a lovely border, top and bottom, and a little bit on the ends. Now you could certainly make it a larger border on the outside edges just by coming down and continuing to reduce it. You can certainly reduce it down another time like that, and you could have a smaller border, so just keep reducing it down, and each time it'll center. What I actually might do is I will show you what it looks like reduced down one more time. So what I'll do, take that out the way, bring my cutting plate back in, put this on here. I'm going to line it up in the same sort of fashion that I did before, i.e. on those little peaks there, bring that down to there. And this time we don't have really good little peaks sticking out the outside edge, but you can still do it. Let's just, I can sort of see these peaks here on the outside edge, that's what I'm looking for. And when I'm happy, I'll stick it down, run it through the Big Shot, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay guys, so that's the second one cut down. And as you can see, it just gives you a tinier little insert panel, writing panel. Still looks really great, and I'll show you the difference. That's the first one that we reduced. It's a little bit of a bigger internal panel, more space for stamping and writing. But you could imagine you could even layer them down yourself like that, and if it was in a different colour you'd see it better. But you can have fun with those guys and reduce them right down. The other one out of the exact same framelit set is this little guy here. Now I've just got to try and find that framelit. And it's and also a really good one to reduce down. So it's this one here. Now all I've done there, as you can see, I've got a rich razzleberry one that's been cut in the background, and I've cut a cream one the same size and reduced it down. And I'll just want to show you where to line this one up if you want to do it. So here's a full cream that I've cut, and I'll show you how to place that on your board. I'll bring my board back in here. Put the cream one down, and then this one is simply a matter of just dropping it straight down and making sure you line it up the best you can. Now I'll try and move this into the center of the frame so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better here. So all I do is I drop it down until I'm sort of happy. Now when I say happy, what I'm trying to get here is, see these little tiny dents in there? I'm trying to match the top edge of the framelit again to those little dented areas there, and that gives me framelit size that or the internal matting size that I'm happy with. So again, the key to this, guys, is really to tape it down, because if it moves just a little bit, you end up with a yucky or a lopsided internal. Okay, so I'll run that through the Big Shot and I'll be back. Okay, so that's been through the Big Shot, and I'll just take it out from under there. And as you can see, it's cut down to a smaller size frame, which fits perfectly inside of that edge. Oops, helps if you line it even top and bottom. But it gives you a really beautiful internal matting without having to mess around with cutting pieces and sticking them behind like I've shown you in other ways to mat out framelits. The same principle goes with this one as with the first one, guys, that you can actually reduce it down even further if you want to layer it up again. So you just come back and put your framelit on until you're really happy. Now the other place that I like to cut it is I like to move it down until these top corners match up with the bottom flat edges there, so it gets rid of all of the external areas. Or you can do it so that you get another little thinner border as well at the top. So it's really up to you how far down you go, what sort of look you're after. So let's do both, just because we can. So what I'll do is I'll cut both extra ones, because I haven't got them to show you, and I'll show you what the 3 ones that I use are. All right, so I've reduced them down a bit further, guys. It's the first one I showed you. I just did one that came down to just leave one little lump like that, and then I've reduced it down a little bit further. And just so you can kind of see, I suppose, what that looks like, let me just layer these up for you really quickly. And this is just scrap cardstock, so you can kind of see what's going on. So that little layer will fit on there, and that on its own is a gorgeous little label. And then this is the first one that I showed you. You can put that one into there. And then the last one, which is the original size, can be layered into there. So that's what you can really end up with, which is just a gorgeous label, or you can just do the one plain one that I showed you at the start. Have fun with those framelit reduction technique, guys. The possibilities are endless, and for any of the symmetrical patterned framelits, this will work. So I hope you give that a go.